A bill that reauthorized the Federal Aviation Administration is now headed to the president's desk after passing the House on Wednesday. The major aviation bill will renew the FAA's authority over the skies for 5 years and was passed just days before it was set to expire. Joining us now exclusively on CBS 7 is Texas Senator Ted Cruz. Senator, thank you for joining us here today.
Great to be with you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. And this new aviation bill is set to not just help big airports across the country, but also smaller ones like Midland International Air and Spaceport.
Yes.
Why was it so important that the smaller airports get this funding?
Well, this bill is a major victory for the American people. It's a major victory for the state of Texas. I authored this bill. It was a huge bipartisan bill. I authored it jointly with Maria Cantwell. I am the ranking member on the Senate Committee of Commerce, Science, and Transportation. That means I'm the senior Republican. Maria Cantwell is the chairman of the committee. The two of us authored this together. This bill is over $100 billion invested in our aviation system. And aviation is critical to the state of Texas. It produces directly hundreds of thousands of high-paying jobs in Texas. Texas is a major aviation hub, and it is critical. My priority, my number one priority is jobs, 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 and aviation is central to jobs in the state of Texas. This bill also makes serious investments in safety. The top priority for aviation has to be safety. When you and your family get on a plane, what you are most concerned about is you want to get to where you're going and you want to get there safely and have your family be safe. And this bill invests billions of dollars in safety technology. It directs the FAA to hire the maximum number of air traffic controllers, and it also invests in technology, runway technology, to avoid the potential of collisions. We've seen far too many near misses, and I'll tell you a victory I'm particularly proud of. Initially, the FAA had proposed putting advanced air traffic control equipment in 49 airports. I increased that from 49 airports to 89 airports, and it added 2 Texas airports to that list, Midland and Corpus Christi. And so as a result, the Midland Airport will get advanced technology to enhance safety, to enhance air traffic control. It's a big victory for Texas.
And in this bill, it allows an additional $4 billion per year in funding for infrastructure repairs. How will those funds be divided amongst airports across the nation?
Well, the bill, as I said, puts about $4 billion into airports all across the country. Many of those investments are in Texas. We've got airports that are hubs, that are global hubs, whether DFW and Love or in Houston or Austin or San Antonio or Midland or all across the state. And every one of those airports is getting major investments. I'll tell you another big victory for Texas is we added 5 new flights into and out of Ronald Reagan National Airport in Washington, D.C. The reason that matters is Reagan Airport is the only airport in the country that is limited by law in terms of how many flights can come in and out. And right now, today, San Antonio does not have a direct flight into Midland. The San Antonio community has been focused on this for years, has been working for years. Several years ago, leaders of San Antonio came and met with me, and their number one ask was they wanted a direct flight to Reagan Airport. San Antonio is the 7th largest city in America. It also has a big military population. Reagan Airport is right next to the Pentagon. It's right next to Arlington Memorial Cemetery. I led the effort. I drafted the provision creating the new slots into and out of Reagan Airport. It was the single biggest fight in this bill. It was a big fight on the floor, but at the end of the day, Texas prevailed. And 60 days from when Joe Biden signs this into law, San Antonio is going to have a direct flight to and from Reagan. That's a huge victory for the state of Texas.
And actually, in this new bill, it also encourages the FAA to better integrate unmanned aircrafts to help fight wildfires. And after the largest wildfire in the Panhandle and several breaking out already here in the Permian Basin, how will this help combat wildfires?
Well, this is designed to have the FAA use technology more effectively to monitor wildfires, to be able to mobilize resources to fight wildfires. We saw tragically in the Panhandle, the biggest wildfire in Texas history. It did enormous damage, and this helps marshal air resources to combat them, to monitor what's happening, to put firefighters in the right position to contain a wildfire. And that's critically important when you are battling a natural disaster like that.
And as you know, Midland International is a spaceport. How is this going to help integrate commercial space activities into the national airspace systems and boost Texas's commercial space activity?
Well, the Midland Spaceport is tremendously important for the economy of West Texas and has been a major priority for me. You know, for the last decade, virtually every single piece of major legislation focused on space I have either authored or co-authored, and we passed multiple pieces of legislation. One of the big steps of this bill is it further integrates the airspace, both from aviation and from commercial space. You know, commercial space is really how we're leveraging capital to continue America's leadership in space, and the Midland Spaceport is a big part of doing that.
And lastly, what will this do for airport workers and staff, whether it's TSA, ground control, or ramp workers, all of the above? How will this help those workers?
Well, this bill makes major investments into airports, and it focuses principally on infrastructure and on technology to enhance safety. And that of course, benefits everyone that works at the airports is benefited by improved infrastructure, by improved safety investments, and that also benefits the entire aviation system. You know, it's not just the jobs at airports, it's not just the jobs at airlines that aviation is central to, but just about every other job you can think of. If it's folks in the oil and gas business in Midland who are getting on a plane to fly down to Houston or to fly to Dallas or to fly somewhere else to meet with customers, whether it is families that are going on vacation, that are flying to the beaches in Florida for spring break, the industry that flows through aviation is critical, and this investment dramatically improves aviation. And I got to tell you, it was a huge bipartisan win in the Senate. The final vote in favor of my bill was 88-4. It was overwhelming. We united Republicans and Democrats. And I'll tell you, Tyler, something I'm particularly proud of. This bill was the 100th bill that I have authored that's been passed into law, and my focus on every one of them has been fighting for Texas, fighting for jobs, fighting for 30 million people across our great state.
Thank you so much, Senator. Thank you for joining us here on CBS 7 First Alert News. Have a good rest of your day, Senator.
Thank you, Tyler.